Hello and welcome to Arcane Answers. I'm your host, Lair, and joined with me, as always, are the spooktacular Amanda and Sarah. How are you ladies?
Greetings.
Oh yeah, I got mine out late. You got yours in early, I think. Let's let's just go again. And how are you ladies doing today?
Doing well. How are you, Lair?
I'm doing well. Feeling a little loose, a little goosey. You know?
Not the loosey goosey.
Yeah, and but I'm gonna jump straight into magic today when we're talking witches. And when you think of witches, there's only one place to start, and that's Salem, Massachusetts. Now, Salem is known for its dark past in the 1700s, specifically maybe around 1692.
Right around that. Right around.
But I'm taking us out of that era and into the modern era with an identity that belongs to Laurie Cabot, the official witch of Salem. And this title was famously bestowed upon her by the then governor Michael Dukakis in the 1970s. And her legacy is visible in the shops and redefined public perception of witchcraft in America. So that's my topic for today.
Very interesting.
Thank you. I thought so too. Now, I don't really know much about her other than what I could find online. So, like, if I am venerating somebody that I shouldn't, you guys can let us know. But as far as I know, she seems pretty cool. She was born Laurie Cabot, or I'm sorry, she was born Mercedes Elizabeth, I want to say Kiersey in Oklahoma in 1933, where she moved to California and then to Boston as a teenager. She had a lifelong interest in the occult, and it was rooted in her childhood with countless hours poring over ancient texts at the Boston Library. And she raised her two daughters as witches, which,
Interesting.
yeah, now that is unusual, right?
Yeah.
But she was vocally and visibly a witch. What I mean by visibly is she would appear in black robes and have her signature black eye makeup and proudly identified as a witch every day in her Boston life.
So totally leaned into it.
Yeah, she just was like, I'm a witch, you deal with it, and I live here.
We love that kind of energy.
Yeah, it's good energy. And so it was her move to Salem that really cemented her legacy. So it was after the sitcom Bewitched filmed there in 1970. So it created this like massive wave of tourism. And she seized the moment in 1971. She opened Salem's very first witch shop. So this was a dedicated destination for selling herbs, tarot cards, magical tools, and it was an instant hit. She rode the national TV exposure, planting a real modern pagan flag in the heart of Puritan history. The shops later evolved through her last physical location, which closed in 2012, to her tradition of continuing through Salem's many contemporary witch shops. And not her witch shops, but the fact she opened the first one led the way to opening many more. So everybody's like, have you been to Salem? You guys have been through Salem, right?
I have not. Amanda has.
Yeah, I attempted to go to Salem during Halloween and immediately aborted mission because there was no place to park. And also, that was way too many human beings in the one small town.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
I'm like, I'm out.
I went there in like the summer and it was like fine. But there you can throw a stone in any direction and hit something occult. It
Yeah.
is fully taken over, and a lot of that has to do with her.
How is it in February?
I
Is it
haven't
too
been.
cold to travel up there?
It's
during
pretty
that
cold
time?
in February. There's still usually snow on the ground, yeah.
I think I'm okay with that.
I'm also okay with that. I'm so tired of this 80-degree weather in October.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
we were getting that up here too.
Gross.
Yeah, it is. But like last week, it started dropping back down to like normal autumnal weather, and like you're getting jackets, extra blankets on. It's nice again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the false fall. That's okay. It was 77 degrees and raining today.
Oh,
Yeah.
yuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, back to your story. Sorry.
Back to Laurie Cabot. She's an activist and an intellectual who established the Cabot tradition of the science of witchcraft. And she emphasizes that her practice integrates religion, art, and science structured in the study of earth energies and natural laws. And she's moving beyond sensationalized views. Like in 1986, they released the film Witches of Eastwick, which she saw a resurgence of negative stereotypical images portraying witches as evil or satanic. And in a response, she founded the Witches League of Public Awareness, the WLPA, to defend witches' civil rights and counter these stereotypes. She
Hmm.
was outspoken about the movie and said, "Here are these women who have nothing better to do because they're so frustrated sexually than get involved in witchcraft."
Oh, that is a scathing,
Yeah.
scathing review.
That's beautiful, is what that is.
She goes on to say, "They are not witches. They are not anything. They are weekend Satanists. They don't have one witchy thing in the whole film."
Whoa.
That would hurt my feelings as a director.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this action brought mainstream acceptance and understanding to Wiccans and witches by drawing a clear line between positive witchcraft and Hollywood fantasy. So, yeah, that is pretty scathing. I agree with you.
Oof.
But, she's also an author. She has been incredibly prolific. She's got books including The Power of the Witch, The Earth, the Moon, and The Magical Path to Enlightenment. That was written in 1990. And it has become like essential reading and passed down. The traditions that she passed down is clear and accessible to like new practitioners. So,
Okay.
yeah, like she wants to make it fun for everyone, or at least accessible and kind
Right.
of like, yeah, dispel the myths that are out there and bring people into her practice, which I think is pretty cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But that's about all I have. So the next chapter of these arcane stories is going off to you, Amanda.
Yeah, so I'm going to go a little bit earlier on in the witchcraft tradition. Um I decided on looking at the Gardnerian Wicca tradition and Gerald Gardner specifically. This man looks exactly like the kind of guy who would start a coven. Like,
His face is going on the cover of this episode.
yeah, I mean, just
Wasn't
exactly.
wasn't he very Houdini-esque?
No, you're thinking of Manly P. Hall.
Oh, there
Yeah,
we go. That's what I was
Manly P.
thinking.
Hollis.
Sorry,
Yeah.
continue.
Anyway, so Gerald Gardner was born in 1884 to an upper crust English family, and he suffered badly from asthma from a very early age. So when he was 6 years old, he was sent off with his nanny on this like international search for climates that are better suited to somebody who is an asthmatic, and lived in places like the south of France, the Canary Islands, Ghana, Madeira, and finally ended up in Sri Lanka when his nanny got married to a tea plantation owner. So, because he traveled so much, he never actually had any formal schooling and ended up having to kind of teach himself things as he went along. He developed an interest in two things that were kind of very defining for him. One was weaponry, and the other was tribal magical rituals. He was fascinated by the idea that magic for these people were an everyday part of life. They were just reality. That's just how it was. So it kind of became a little bit of an amateur anthropologist in that sense. Anyway, so when World War One broke out, he ended up returning to Britain in 1916 to try to join the Royal Navy, but they're like, you can't breathe, so we can't put you in our army,
You're disqualified.
but we can have you be a medical volunteer. So he did that for a while, but then an old malaria case flared up. Did you know that malaria was a parasite and not a bacteria?
I did not, and that's super gross.
I hate that so much.
Yeah, yeah.
I hate
So
parasites in general. Sorry to cut you off.
yeah, that freaks me out. Anyway, so he heads back to British Malay, which is by Singapore, and continues his career as this rubber tree plantation inspector because he was a civil servant at that point in his life. All the while, kind of still indulging in these deep interests of all things occult and magical. So he heads back to Britain again in 1927 and starts investigating spiritualism, seances, mediums, some with some criticism and some with like some serious belief. And during this time, he ends up meeting and marrying a woman named Dorothea Rosedale, better known as Donna, after knowing her for less than a few weeks, and they headed back to his place in Malay to start their wedded life. They're already in their 40s. They never had any kids. They're just like, hey, let's go. So he finally there's not a lot after that, but he finally, at the age of 52 in 1936, he retires and decides to go back to England to live as a nudist.
How
Right?
did Dorothea take that? Like, that's a
She
very witchy name.
Dorothea was Donna was down with the nudism. She's like, "That's fine. Like, I'm on an adventure. I got married in my 40s with the like East Asia, just hung out doing my thing."
Let's
But
whip it out and go down to the beach.
yeah, I mean, it's one of those times where you realize, like, your great-grandparents were getting down, like, they were
Yeah.
doing shenanigans.
Nah,
Oh, they were.
mine were.
No, yes, they were. We had the same grandparents, I know your
At least
secrets.
some of them.
Uh, so anyway, during his nudist, which actually it lasts for the rest of his life, so I don't know what I'm talking about. The nudist lifestyle networked him with a bunch of dabblers in the occult. Apparently, British people like two things, which is being naked and magic. So during this period of his time, he joins the Rosicrucian Order. It's kind of like this occult scholar social club slash theater group.
Mhm.
Um, he ends up at another point joining the Order of the Bards, Ovates, and Druids. He got ordained as a priest in the ancient British Church.
Oh,
He
jeez.
made level 4 in Aleister Crowley's Order Templi Orientis.
The OTO, you can call it that. That's fun that Aleister Crowley's making another appearance.
Yeah.
He just pops up every so often.
Yeah. Oh, and he joined the Masons, the Folklore Society, and the Society for Psychical Research. Like, this man never ever met a club that he did not want to join.
Oh my god. How did he find the time?
I
And
don't.
is he doing it all naked?
He had no children, and he didn't ever have to get dressed. You know how much time that saved?
So much time. So it's also during this period where he says, and this is kind of an alleged thing because there's not a lot of evidence that it actually existed, but he said that he was introduced by people in the Rosicrucian Order, some of them that were cooler, to the New Forest Coven in witchcraft. And what is known is that during this period as well, he started his own coven, which is the formation of the Bricketwood Coven,
Uh-huh.
um, and started kind of forming his own tradition of Wicca at that point. So here's the funny thing about Donna. So Donna was down with nudism. Donna's totally down with traveling all over the world. Donna is not putting up with any witchcraft bullshit. Like, she has no
Oh.
desire to join his coven. She's like, "That's your thing. You do you, buddy. I'm not
Be
doing
over
that."
here naked.
Yeah, I'm just
Did
gonna
she
be friends.
divorce him or just
No,
didn't
no.
like him?
He was devoted to her despite probably numerous affairs. Like, he adored this woman. And in fact, when she passed away, he ended up getting massive asthma attacks. He only outlived her by like 4 years. Like, his health
Oh.
drastically declined. So it wasn't that, she didn't love him. It was just she's like, "This is silly.
This is your hobby. Go away.
Right."
It's true. I mean, I'd kind of get a little mad too if like my spouse suddenly got an interest in sex magic. Be
Yeah.
like, what are you doing with Alistair? I don't
And
know
you're
about
in
this.
50s and 60s and 70s. Like, what?
Don't you have enough clubs already? Now you got to go and join this one.
Gotta make your own. Well, and he did make some major contributions to both Wicca as a religion and also as kind of the public face, for better or worse, actually usually for worse. So
I
he
can
had a
see
couple of publications. Two of the major ones are Witchcraft Today and The Book of Shadows, which is everybody knows about that. And then he also did a bunch of interviews, which ended up fracturing his own coven because some people were like, "Okay, it's a secret club that you're giving so much information on." And this, again, at this point, we're talking about like the 1950s in very puritanical post-war Britain.
So he loved secret societies, but not as much as the limelight.
that's kind of how it ended up.
Okay.
So, yeah. And so it continued, but it did, and there was splinters in the group after that. So he ended up passing away in 1964, but he had the strangest and most interesting life. Like the guy just loved everything, wanted to experience everything, and he did his damnedest to do it before he passed.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Uh, well, I'm glad to hear that. You sound like a pretty wild guy.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, just all over the place. And he was also very embarrassed about his lack of formal education, so he actually
Uh-huh.
got caught fabricating a couple of degrees.
Oh no!
Yeah.
It's like, yes, I went to Miskatonic University.
So
I,
that concludes my delving into Gerald Gardner and his Gardnerian Wicca.
that's super cool.
Well, I went a little off script for this one. Still in the same realm, just a little different. But when you think of pop culture witches, say Sabrina, Charmed, the Halliwell sisters, what do you think of?
I think of television.
That's fair. So Sabrina had Salem, the Halliwell sisters had Kit, and then we all know Thackeray Binks from Hocus Pocus.
Oh, I see. I see where you're going with this. Yeah.
So familiars come in all forms, shapes, and sizes. They're not just black cats. From cats to toads and all sorts of creatures in between. Dating back centuries, familiars have been a staple in witchcraft. So I'm going to take you back to Greek mythology. We have the goddess Hecate, and she was said to be the goddess of magic, witchcraft, the night with associations to the moon, crossroads, and liminal spaces. She's sometimes depicted with a black dog. What were you going to say?
Oh, I just was humming that, but also, like, she had 3 faces, right? Is that the one?
She's a triple goddess. Yeah,
Yeah.
the mother, maiden, crone.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the black dog that she's depicted with was named Hecuba. And in Hecuba's human life, she was the former queen of Troy. Mythology says that Hecuba threw herself into the ocean in despair after witnessing the death of her children. Hecate was moved by this tragic, courageous story and decided to transform Hecuba into a black she-dog to become her companion.
Oh, I love
Oh,
that.
uh, yeah, that's nice, but I'd rather be a human.
She was dead.
Well, yeah, but if she can just magic up a body, like maybe a bipedal one.
She threw herself into the ocean after watching her kids die. She didn't want to be alive.
Yeah.
Oh,
After
Yeah.
some point.
yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. So she's like, hey, let's hang out. You can be a dog, big hellhound, just eat everything. Hecate also had a polecat, and the polecat's name was Gale. And Gale has a little bit of a funnier history and why it's said that she was turned. So during her life, her human existence,
Uh-huh.
Gale was a talented witch who dealt with herbs and potions. Stories say that Hecate turned Gale into a polecat as punishment for her incontinence and extreme sexual desire.
Oh, that's a bad combo.
There's just a lot going on. So
God.
So I had to look up what a polecat was just now, and it's like a ferret.
or a skunk.
Yeah, I'm looking at them. Oh, it doesn't look very skunk-like. It's
They
really.
smell skunk like.
Oh, they do.
Yeah.
Ferrets also stink.
Yeah,
We
ferrets
do.
do sting.
Polecat smell more like. That's what mom had in her chicken house that she
Oh,
had to take care of.
that
I
horrible.
was
Yeah.
dating this girl in my teens, and she had a ferret, and it got out and bit me on my nipple when I was sleeping.
My gosh.
I don't have fondness for ferrets.
Here, I don't blame you. Oh no.
Got bit by your familiar.
Yeah, that might have been the case.
Absolutely.
I was like, oh, you incontinent, lustful ferret.
During the witch panic in the 17th centuries, Familiars were said to be the witch's helpful demonic companion. It was widely believed that familiars were a gift given to the witch from the devil himself.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Familiars were used as evidence during the witch trials. So it was said that the familiar gained its sustenance from the witch, feeding directly off of, the person, and they would leave a mark, like a mole or a wart. So, I mean,
Oh.
if being a woman wasn't hard enough back then, you have any blemishes, and immediately you have a tiny demon suckling from you.
That's rude.
Yeah, me too.
This freckly ginger's going down in flames.
My God, that woman has a million familiars.
So those marks were proof of the witch's guilt. So familiars are said to serve many different purposes in witchcraft. Some sources say that familiars will assist with spell casting and magic work, as they serve as kind of like a magical conduit. They are also thought to be guides or guardians. Other sources say they're just simply your companion.
Now, I have a question, and maybe you have an answer. I don't know. But what's the difference between a familiar and an imp?
The time frame in which you're talking about them. So during the witch trials, they referred to them as imps.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was
So-
thinking video game imps, like the tiny angry demons.
Yeah. So it was
Oh,
said
yeah.
during the witch trials that the familiars, so the cats, the dogs, the birds, the ferrets, the mice, whatever animal that woman was taking care of, was actually a demon in an animal's body called an imp.
Interesting. Okay.
Okay.
Thanks for clarifying that.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
So in witchcraft today, familiars aren't always physical animals. So because they are sometimes considered guardians or guides, a familiar can be, obviously an animal or an insect that you just keep seeing. So, I went through a period of time where I found black widows everywhere I went. I couldn't get away.
Here?
No.
Good, because I would hate that.
No.
Yeah, that seems like a very Washington State thing.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, we even had them over on the coast where they were said not to have lived. And I still was finding them.
Oh,
So
wow. You have a Black Widow familiar.
Apparently. Haven't seen one in years, actually, but
Because they're not allowed in the house.
it was probably trying to tell me something at the time. I needed to become one.
I wonder how many people.
Sarah?
Okay, so it doesn't always have to be like a pet or an animal that you have. Sometimes it's just the reoccurrence of seeing said animal that your guide or your spirit guide or whatever it is trying to get a message across to you. And so they're using this particular animal or insect or whatever to try to get your attention.
So, like people in New York with roaches,
Correct.
they're just seeing these everywhere in the apartments they go to.
Yeah, it's telling him to get out of New York. Hold on. It's also believed that cats are like the main one the one you see so often, like in pop culture or during Halloween. It's the black cats that go along with the witches. It's believed that cats are regarded as powerful protectors. They can absorb negative energy and keep you safe while you're sleeping. So, any spirit or entity trying to enter your body, the witch or the cat is said to scare off. Or astral projecting, it's said that the cat helps you keep your soul in your body while you're sleeping.
That's pretty handy.
Yeah. So how does one go about getting a familiar?
Ooh, good question.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to know. I was always under the impression that the familiar found the witch. Do you remember hearing that? Why do I think this is a childhood memory?
What, are you talking to me?
No, I was talking to Amanda.
Oh,
Familiar found witch. I feel like that's a common trope.
Is it a common trope? Maybe that's why.
And yeah, actually, no, I think that's accurate.
That's like a
because-
childhood thing, isn't it?
I mean, I don't know if it's a childhood thing, but I feel like Like, you don't go shopping for a familiar as a witch, like, they find you.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that's correct.
So that is
I
one
think you're thinking the wand chooses the wizard from Harry Potter.
probably.
I don't think so.
So the familiar can actually find the witch. It's also thought that a familiar can be passed down from generation to generation.
Mm.
So a grandmother giving or a mother giving her daughter a cat, bird, whatever, some sort of animal. And it's said to keep the magic flowing from generation to generation.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I could see that in the case of like a tortoise, but
A tortoise or like a
Parrot.
Yeah.
yeah. Like this
hands-on-
one's been in the family for 150 years.
Well, I think the thing about familiars, since they're supposed to be demons, is that they would have an abnormal lifestyle or lifespan.
Right.
Like I like the lifestyle actually.
An abnormally long lifestyle. Lifestyle of the rich and familiar.
They were joining the nudist colonies.
Their goth phase lasted for years.
And of course, the probably most well-known trope of a witch gets its familiar from the devil.
Not the devil.
Oh no, old Scratch.
Not old Scratch.
Old Scratch.
And that is what I bring to the table today for our witch episode.
Don't forget that we're doing the drawing for the Gruesome Brews, so make sure to check out our Facebook ad and like it. Let us know you're interested. We will be doing the drawing on October 31st.
If you would like a chance to be entered into our drawing, be sure to like, share, or interact with us on Facebook. Our cutoff for getting your name in is going to be October 25th, and the drawing will be October 31st.